Hello. Thank you, Julie, for joining us. I know we're going to be sharing this with Team Lettuce. And everyone, this is Julie Voris. She is a top 5 master trainer and a Beachbody coach, 5 times elite coach. And she's been coaching for 6, going on 7 years. And her upline is Christine Dwyer. And that's kind of just some bullet points there. But I met Julie 6-ish years ago and said yes to the business and was kind of clipping at her heels, like looking for something to do and have her tell me her secrets. And eventually I kind of just realized how cool the business was and started to follow suit, and the rest is kind of history. So just wanted to introduce her and thank her for being here. So thank you, Julie, for being with us.
My pleasure. And I have a question for you. What are you going to do when you get married? Is it still going to be Team Lettuce since you won't be Maria Romaine anymore? What are you going to do with that?
Such a good question. I'm a believer in my brand and my team. And I really like that Let Us has become Let Us.
Let us.
Let Us. So it's a very team dynamic. So I'm just going to do the Maria Romaine brace thing. And I'm just going to have to brace.
It's fun.
But we'll have fun with brace too, I'm sure, like a little hashtag there, here and there. A good question. So they have a lot of good questions.
Good.
But we'll try to, we've got 30 minutes. So I kind of want to start with this question. It said, what would you tell a coach first starting out? Like, what do you wish you knew at their?
That's an interesting question. As you're recording this, if you're watching, you're probably going to see me kind of look to the side and look to the front, because when you do a Zoom call, your speakers, I'm looking at Maria and then I'm talking to you. So you'll kind of see me go both places. But when I started this business, I did nothing with it for about 8 months. We got in, we went out to California, we were presented with the business opportunity, and I had zero experience in network marketing. Personally, I had never owned a business ever, and I had no idea how to run my own business or do anything with this business, and I certainly did not understand the potential of the business. All I knew was when they described it to those of us who were in the audience, it sounded like what we were already doing on a much bigger scale. So it made sense to me as far as the business itself, but I had no idea what to do with it. So for 8 months, I just did not do anything with it. I would love to have those 8 months back. And if you're watching this webinar and you're brand new, do not follow in my footsteps. Do not wait 8 months to do something. The tools and the resources that we have now that we did not have then are mind-blowing, that even if you didn't have an amazing upline coach, which you do, you would still be able to build an incredible business because all of that stuff is right there in your coach online office. So you're fortunate on this team that you have this amazing upline coach who wants to help you succeed, coupled with unbelievable resources that are available to all of you at any point, at any time, right there in your coach online office. So if you are a brand new coach or a coach who's been a coach for a while who maybe is now re-engaging, the biggest takeaway that you can have from what did I learn for doing nothing in 8 months is you have to do something. You know, that is time I wish I had back that I can't get back, that is part of my journey now. But I think, what could I have been learning in those 8 months that would help me be, that we would have an even bigger team right now. So every single day, whether you're brand new or sort of new or a veteran coach, whatever, you've got to do something that makes you better as a person. That will make you a better coach. So you need to, of course, the 3 vital behaviors, let's just get that out on the table. All right, 3 vital behaviors. Yes, you should be doing them. Now we'll go on and talk about other things because that's a given. Of course, those are in your daily life. But what else can you be doing that would make you a better person, that would also make you a better coach? Extra personal development, staying engaged with your team. That's the biggest key, is staying engaged with your team page, with your upline coach, with your colleagues, with your teammates, because this business can tend to be so computer centered, so tech centered, that we get in this little bubble and forget that we are actually on a team. And while we might be in business for ourselves, we're never in business by ourselves. And we really are part of something much greater than just us. And that's why it's Team Beachbody and not Maria Beachbody. It's Team Beachbody, because we're all in this together trying to do something much bigger and grander than we could ever do on our own. So number one, always stay engaged with your upline coach and your team. And number two, always do something every day that will enhance you as a person, because that has to enhance you as a coach. You can't grow a business unless you're growing yourself first. So even if you did nothing else but get back in that Success on Demand tab in your Coach Online office and spent 30 to 60 minutes back there a day, you would be smarter, more articulate, more creative, more self-aware. All of that would help you be a better coach. If you did nothing else and just did that, that would be huge. So now you know that you can do more than that, and you should be doing more than that. And don't let 8 months go by where you do nothing. Don't let a day go by, because it's very similar to a workout that if you miss a day, it's really easy to miss the next day and to miss the next day and to miss the next day. So if you let a day go by where you do nothing with your business, it's really easy then to disengage and disengage and disengage. You've got to stay engaged in your business every single day so that you can build this life that you want to lead with this opportunity. I hope that answers it.
Yeah, you answered that question and probably a million others. We have some coaches that are like, everything I ask, I know it's like the same answer. It's just get out and meet more people, and then get out and meet more people and all of that. But this next topic is I'll start off with the like maybe the easier one, and then maybe the like more raw one. Okay. The person asked my coach, what is your biggest source of inspiration and how did you find it?
Oh, I would say that's an interesting question, because it might differ from day to day. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't know that I have one specific source that I go to every day for inspiration, you know, besides my faith, besides my family. I don't know that I have a certain book or a certain person, because I've been really lucky to have lots of people and lots of books and lots of sources and lots of events that have come into my life from which I've gained inspiration at different points in my life. And what's interesting about inspiration, I think, is that sometimes you will hear something and it just does not click with you at that particular time in your life. And you might go back and you might read that book again, or have that conversation with someone again, or go to that seminar or that event 3 or 6 months later, and they may say the very same words, and all of a sudden you go, oh, it's like the heavens opened up, and now it makes sense to you, because wherever you are in your life now, it seems to make sense. So it's tough to pinpoint one source of inspiration, you know, again, aside from my faith and my family, because I think at different points in our life, we get inspiration from different places in our life. But I do strongly, strongly believe in keeping our buckets filled. And when I say that, I don't mean going to get a pedicure and a manicure and hanging out and doing all that kind of stuff. That might be something on one day, but I do strongly believe in the power of personal development, the power of live events, the power of constantly surrounding yourself with powerful words and people, and the people in your life that will push you and challenge you and inspire you, and keeping your own bucket filled, because it's really challenging to reach your hand out and help somebody else if your own personal bucket isn't filled, because eventually you get down to the bottom and you go, I got nothing left to give. And this business really is all about reaching your hand out to help somebody else. But you have to take good care of yourself first, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and making sure that you are keeping your bucket filled with whatever it is that motivates you. Again, I really, really believe in live events. I believe in getting a mentor that will push you and challenge you and ask you tough questions. I believe in, of course, personal development. If you can look behind me, you can see some of the books on my shelf, and I have, of course, some personal favorites. I also believe in sayings and quotes and mantras, and I find myself all through my life, I have found myself, you know, finding sayings and in magazines or books or whatever, and cutting them out and sticking them up on my desk and on my laptop and on my computer or wherever. And the one that I've got right now that is, as Maria knows, is kind of our guiding principle for this quarter, says elevate. Can you see it? It says elevate the moment. And that when I saw that, it was like, yeah, I mean, it just totally connected with me. And I have no idea where I found this. It could have been the magazine on the airplane that I flew the last time. I don't really know, but I find myself doing that too. So I found inspiration in this, and this was, I don't even know where I came across. I think if you're open to it, you can find inspiration in just about anything, anywhere. If your eyes are open and your heart's open and your ears are open and you're willing and you're in the place in your head that you're not focused on you all the time, and you're not just in your own head about your own deal all the time. If you are really outward and looking for that, I think you can find it in just about anything. You know, we're going to Disney next week, and I can guarantee you that at some point, more than one point during the trip, I will see the way a cast member interacts with someone. I will see the way a cast member performs in a show, and I'll think, oh, I can do that when I teach class, or I can do that when I'm talking to a customer, or we'll have some kind of interaction maybe with someone who's at the resort, and they'll have great customer service, and I'll think, oh, I can do that, because I'm kind of looking for that all the time. So if you're open and you're looking for it, then you too might find pieces in magazines that will inspire you.
That's awesome. I love that. That's really good. And the next thing they want to know is, what has been your biggest setback or your struggles, and how do you kind of dig deep?
Me. I am my biggest setback. Okay. As are you, as is everyone. I am my biggest setback. And here's my biggest setback. All that junk that we carry around in our head, that's your biggest setback. It is. And you have to do the personal development, and you have to be willing to really dig in there and figure out what it is that, you know, I used to not like this. I used to not like doing webinars. Mm-hmm. And I really fought that for a long time. And that was dumb. I mean, that was just me getting in my own way. Oh, I can't do webinars. I'm not very good on webinars. I'm not very tech savvy. I don't like to do it. It was just me getting in my own way, because you know what? This is a really powerful form of communication with people that I wouldn't get to see on a regular basis. I do Zoom calls and any meetings now all the time. I actually set them up. I don't need anyone else to do that for me. That was huge progress. I used to need Rachel Tyson to set up all my stuff. I could actually do it now myself. I was just in my own way. And as I shared, you know, Maria, you were at the 3 Vital Behaviors this weekend. You know, I was talking to Leanne Ruff, who did that training for us, and we were talking about how, you know, I wasn't very coachable 3 years ago when she met me, which is so interesting, because I was coachable in other areas of my life, but not really in my business. And I don't know if that's because I still didn't grasp the true potential of it, or I just didn't fully let it into my heart, or I'm not really sure why that was. But when I certainly opened up myself and really embraced the idea of being more coachable and listening, and then implementing what they were saying, whether I liked it or not, or whether it felt comfortable or not, just giving it a try. You know, it kind of comes from my personal trainer that I had a couple of years ago. He would say to me, you know, your body's your best experiment. When we would talk about, should we try this, or what about this, or you talk about nutrition, or your body's your best experiment. Well, I think your life is your best experiment. You know, if you're not really sure if something will work in your business, why are we spending energy wondering if it'll work in our business? Why don't we just try it? And let's just see what happens. And if it works, awesome. And if it doesn't, what if we could recalibrate it and find something else that works? But how will we ever know if something works if we don't try it? And I think I spent a lot of energy and time telling myself what I was good at or what I couldn't do, rather than just getting on board with trying a whole lot of stuff and being open to a whole lot of stuff, and then seeing and kind of just throwing it all out there and seeing what worked and what didn't, and being really willing to not working, to something not working, being really willing for something not to work, so that I could learn from that. But that's truly getting in our own way, because sometimes we're so afraid of, oh, we'll look silly, or we'll look stupid, or someone will say no to us, or we'll fail. Who cares? You know, who cares? No, truly, no one else is thinking about you as much as you are thinking about you. So if you can just kind of get over yourself and get out of your own way, wondrous things can happen in your business and in your life. Wondrous things can happen. But you got to get out of your head and get over yourself and get out of your own way, and stop telling yourself what you can do and cannot do and are good at and aren't good at. How do you know? Just try. Just give it a go. And what you weren't good at a few months ago, a year ago, you might be good at now. You never know. So you might not try. I don't know if that answered your question, but
Definitely. You got me all inspired. No, that's perfect. And I think we all want to feel like, when we look up to our mentors or our heroes or our, people who set the path for us, we want to know that they're like us, that they have those moments. And that's the thing that gets in our way is victimizing or thinking, someone has it easier, or well, she was always fit, or she did lose.
And that's true. I found myself doing that a lot, that, oh, well, it's easier for this person because of this, and it's easier for this. It's not really easy for anyone. Mm-hmm. And all of that's in our head just really gets in our way. That was a whole lot of mental energy expended on something that didn't get me anywhere, because I was constantly saying, well, they must have it much easier than I do, and I can't do that because blah, 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 blah. And none of that was true. That was just all stuff that were obstacles that I put in my own head that were in my own way that I had to work through and get through and get over. And then once I did, it's interesting how things changed when you kind of get over yourself.
Sure. And that's awesome. Okay. And here's some more like logistical stuff. A lot of the coaches encounter just getting, like, we promote the 21-day fix, and a lot of my coaches have had a lot of success from the 21-day fix, but then they're like, I can't build the value in Shakeology. And I talk about the value of being a coach and the value of yourself, but what are your tips in building the value of challenge packs or just Shakeology with the program?
Well, Shakeology is a non-negotiable. When I do a challenge group, Shakeology is a non-negotiable. And the reason being, nutrition is 80% of our results. So, I've been drinking Shakeology now for as long as it has been out. So for 6 years. So if you did a time hop on my Facebook, there would probably be a picture of me with my Shakeology cup. That has value, because it's there's no fly by night. I'm not a bandwagon fan. I've been on it since it came out, and I think that has value. So no matter how long you've been in the business, that it doesn't matter if you've been in it 6 years, 6 months, or 6 weeks. Consistency is what counts. So are you sharing the value of Shakeology through your social media platforms and live in-person conversations so that consistently people are hearing you talk about it? I'm not doing Shakeology now and I was doing something else last week. This is it for me. I'm a lifer. So this is it. And that's kind of a piece of your brand that you want to create, and that I hope that this is it for you, and that what we do at Beachbody is it for you in some way. So that's a piece of creating value, and that this is what I found. And I'm in it full completely. I'm jumping feet first into this. So consistency is extremely important. Sharing what Shakeology has done for you personally is extremely important. Why does it work in your life? Because you lead a busy life, because you don't like to eat breakfast, because you like to drink a milkshake, but you really want to be health conscious, because why? Because you really have a sweet tooth and you shouldn't eat dessert, so you have Shakeology. I don't know what the reasons are. Do you need it as a recovery drink? But however it works in your life that has improved your life, that's a piece that you need to be sharing. Who in your family drinks Shakeology, and how has their life changed? I talk a lot about my 87-year-old mother who drinks Shakeology every day, and by golly, that UPS man better not be late with her delivery, because if she is, I'm hearing about it. So she will probably be living to 187 because she drinks Shakeology every day, and she goes to her doctor and her blood pressure's down and da-da-da-da. And so often when I'm talking to people or I'm talking one-on-one in these messages, I'm like, well, my 87-year-old mother drinks it every day. You know what? That's a powerful statement, because who gives their 87-year-old mother something to drink every day unless you believe in it? I believe in that product, and I'm not going to give it to my mom unless I believe in that product. So that's kind of a piece of it. So consistency, what's it done for you? What's it done for your family? And then educating yourself on the pieces of it. So make sure you read Darren Olean's Super Life book. Make sure you're on his Facebook page and on his website, and knowing what this company is doing to research and create a product that is so clearly. I mean, it's laughable when someone says to me, well, how does it compare to muscle milk? I want to take this pencil and jab it in my eyeball when someone asks me that, because it's so non-comparable, but you don't know that unless you do some research. So, consistency, what's it done for you? What's it done for your family? Researching the pieces of it that help you. And then taking a very firm stance on, this is how it is with me. You cannot be in my challenge group unless you're drinking Shakeology and doing the program. There's no middle ground there. If you just want to do the program, I'll be glad to answer questions that you might have via Facebook message or email or, I believe in it. So I think that posture makes a huge difference in what people will get from you. There is no other option with me. It is this to be in the challenge group. You don't want to buy that, that's fine, but you can't be in my challenge group.
Right. I just think when I met you, your confidence was so, like, you might not even need to explain it, and just your belief in it made me look it up, made me be like, because I signed up as a coach, and I honestly didn't start drinking Shakeology at first because I wanted to sell the gloves, and I just became I was sold on Turbo Kick. As, Julie Voris Turbo Kick. I thought it was awesome. And then I kept seeing Shakeology posts and, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I had lost my weight through Weight Watchers, but it was a lot of 100-calorie packs, a lot of, it was effective, but it wasn't
fake food,
a lot of fake food. And that started to turn into, one point, I started to cheat the point system, because it was addictive. It was like these little things. So I started to look up Shakeology because everyone was still consistent. You were still consistent. The coaches were, and having results. And then when I saw what it was, because of your confidence and consistency, I finally looked it up. And for me, I was like, this is legit. Why the heck am I not? This is amazing. Why am I not putting it in my body? And it wasn't even about price or anything. It was more like the ethics behind it. And
absolutely,
with your consistent confidence and belief in it, that was definitely transparent. So I think that's very powerful.
I think that, and that can be with any product. I just discovered this new little product called Paleo Treats. I actually do eat other things that Beachbody doesn't make. I just discovered this little product called Paleo Treats, and some of you might know about it. And, they're just completely pure, like 6 ingredients for a little chocolate treat here. They're so good. And I was sharing them with someone, and he said, well, are they pricey? And I said, yes, but I don't care, because I'm not going to put junk in my body. This is all I got. This is it for me. This is, I only get one of these. So I'm not going to put junk in my body and think that it's okay. I'm going to pay a little bit more for something that is so much more pure and makes sense and treats my body well, because everything about what we put in our bodies affects everything else. Wow. How we feel, how we function, our moods, our hormones, everything is completely affected by what we're putting in our body. I mean, how people don't make that connection, I don't understand. Yeah. So why would I put something that was less than top of the line in this one machine that I have? It doesn't matter if I'm trying to lose weight or not. I mean, this is all I got. So I plan to live to be 187 myself, mostly so I can drive my children crazy. So I will be drinking Shakeology every day.
Very cool. And I know they're going to ask this, where do you get the Paleo Treats?
It was just on, I think it was paleotreats.com. Okay. Yeah. There's
but it looks good. I saw that. I'll have to look at it. And it's similar, I'm sure, when it comes to inviting people to the business, like first starting off. If you can envision first starting, what got you over that hump to start messaging people, bringing out of the blue? Like, what are your tips on getting over that fear?
Doing it. Mm-hmm. It would be like skydiving, which let's just say I'll never do. But to me, it feels like it would be like skydiving. So much of our energy is often spent on the anticipation and the fighting, and I say that in my classes too. You do something that is challenging in class, and you can feel them almost in their heads immediately going, well, I can't do that. And I always say, stop fighting it in your head about how hard it is, and start putting your energy towards the actual doing of it, because it's never as hard as what you think it is. So I think that's important to understand that it's a little bit like skydiving, that you just gotta have to jump. And by having a great belief system and a lot of confidence, you will be able to jump a whole lot easier. And then the more you do it, the more you do it, the more you do it. It's kind of like driving a car. You know, the first time you drove a car, it was certainly not as easy as now. So the more you do it, the more the inviting becomes just kind of second nature and easy and feels much more natural.
Awesome. That's perfect. And then down the line, let's say you have coaches like myself, even where you are very inviting and you're doing it left and right, but then you don't know where to spend your energy with your coaches. So what do you look for in a potential coach?
Someone who is already on my team or not?
Somebody who is not on your team, but you want to be on your team.
So energy matches energy. So I want to put my energy where someone is expending their energy. So if I can look at someone and let's say they're in my challenge group, let's use that as an example, and they are consistently posting and they're talking about how, I think about my Max 30 challenge group and the ones that were in there every day posting their pictures and talking about Shakeology and how much they love the program and the results that they were getting. I'm like, hello, you should be coaching because you're a product of the product. But it was because of their great energy. They've fallen in love with the program, with Shakeology and the culture of Beachbody. And it just was bubbling out of them through their energy and their passion and the way they talked. Those are people that I'm going to go, you should be coaching. You should be coaching. Even if the only thing you do right now is get your Shakeology at a discount, clearly you love it. So why not, join the team? And then at some point, you love the culture so much, your vibe attracts your tribe. I just saw that on Instagram the other day. Your vibe attracts your tribe. And so I think when you're putting out the right vibe, the tribe you attract are the people that are interested in fitness and health and wellness. And I'm looking for the ones that are exuding that energy. And when they're exuding that energy, whether they're on my team or not, that's where I want my energy to go to, because it's so easy to try to drag someone along, and that is energy in the wrong place. I don't want to drag someone. I want to run with someone. And that took a long time to learn. And I think we're probably all still in the, fighting that. You kind of, you want it so much more for them than they want it themselves. You got to let that go.
Gotcha.
You got to let that go.
Cool.
So I try to put my energy where I see energy.
Cool. So knowing that, do you lead with challenge groups? Do you feel like challenge groups breed coaches? Yeah.
Yes, because of my fitness background, for me, it starts and ends with everything in life starts and ends with fitness and health. Mm-hmm. So, as Sean says in Max 30, it's not just exercise, it's your life. I've thought that for forever and ever and ever. And I truly believe what we do in our fitness can transfer into our life, and what we can accomplish in our fitness can help us understand that we can accomplish so much more in our life. So for me to find coaches that match my vibe, challenge groups are the place that I can find them. Now, for someone else who is passionate about nutrition, they might run Shakeology, clean eating, type groups, and that is where they would attract someone who resonates with them. Or for someone who is just a straight on business minded person and sees this as a business, they might run, a different kind of group, or they might meet people in a different kind of way, and that's where they meet the people that are. So you got to kind of create the vibe that creates the tribe that connects with you.
Right. Absolutely. That's awesome. And now that health and fitness has always been $1 billion industry. And I loved when we did that training with Leanne, and she talked about if they're not going to spend it with you, they're going to spend it at Dick's Sporting Goods, or they're going to go to Advocare or these other places. How often do you like to touch base with people who are already in the field, and possibly even with other products? Like, I hate saying recruiting from other, because I definitely don't do that. But I'll be honest, when I see somebody posting about their workout or their nutrition, and maybe they're not on the Beachbody family, mm-hmm. I struggle with how to introduce that to them if they're already prioritizing that.
I think that a little bit of my niche might be fitness instructors. Mm-hmm. So that would be more where I would spend time. But if they're posting, I don't know that I'm out there, mm-hmm. Looking for people like that. I think I'm just trying really hard to share what's working in my life and create a brand that connects with people, a vibe that connects with people that I don't know that I'm hoping they will come to me. Right. So I'm putting out I'm trying to get out there on as big of a platform as I can possibly get with my authentic brand. This is who I am. And then I'm hoping that becomes a little bit of a magnet to the people that I would want on my team, because I'm not in the convincing business ever. So I'm not going to go after someone who is doing another product and try to convince them to come to us. But if we have a genuine, authentic conversation sometime and we're talking about it and I'm like, dude, your whatever can't even match to my stuff, then maybe there's a conversation that leads to something else. But I don't know that I'm out there looking for that. I'm more just trying to create something very authentic that I share with the world that hopefully will attract the people that I'd like to have on my team. The coolest part about this business, I think, and Leanne addressed it at the 3 Vital Behaviors training, in a corporate job, you can't get a job and then say, hey, to your BFF, do you want to come to work with me? That doesn't work. But in this job, we can actually choose with whom we'd like to work. So I want to attract the people that I would want to hang out with. And so to do that, I just try to put my most authentic self out there. Awesome. So the days that I don't like to work out, which are extremely rare, I never not like to work out, but some days the workout isn't quite as good as other days, and I think that people need that's part of it too, and the days where you're running around and you thought you were going to get your workout in and you didn't, you get to the end of the day. People need to hear that too. And they also need to hear, when we had Super Saturday in January and I got in the car and drove to Chicago with my daughter for her auditions, and we're in the hotel at 9 o'clock at night and I'm mixing up my Shakeology in the hotel bathroom. You need to know that, because that is who I am. My blender and my shake and my portable almond milk went with me, and at 9 o'clock at night I'm blending my shake in the bathroom because it's that important to me. So that's just kind of all part of putting that out there so that I connect with the people who would do that too. There's only a certain kind of person who would blend a shake in a bathroom. I want that person.
That's how you find them. That's the question. That's awesome. And I think I love the concept, and I think my coaches really like the concept of being a lighthouse, like you said, putting yourself as much forward as you can and in as many places as possible. And that way people just flock to you that want what you have or that you attract. But I also wonder, let's say you're in a foreign country or you're on an airplane and somebody doesn't know Julie Voris and they don't have your Facebook and they don't have your website. Right. What do you say to talk about what you do?
Well, it's funny because when you're in fitness, and I think just because, being a master trainer, I probably carry myself a little differently. And it's funny because we'll go to my middle daughter is a very serious ballet dancer. So we've been going to these auditions for 3 months. And sometimes the person who's with they're like, oh, you must have been a dancer. I'm like, no. But so I must carry myself a little differently, and that I'm in fitness. Oh yes, I can tell. Okay. So that's I think the way our posture physically and spiritually will communicate a lot to people. And I'll say, fitness is my gig. That's kind of what I'm on. Fitness is my gig. That's what I do. Oh, what do you do? And then it kind of leads into some conversation, but there is real power in your posture, figuratively and spiritually, and how you carry yourself, how you walk into a room, being open to relationships and conversations and meeting people. And it's funny how often I get, oh, you must have been a ballet dancer. No.
Right.
No. But being in fitness does lend itself, those of us that are in it. And even if you're just working out at home, you have a certain athleticism that people that aren't working out don't have. You carry yourself a little differently because, you just rocked out some burpee lunges that morning, and heck, everything else the rest of the day is a piece of cake. So you carry yourself a little differently than someone else who isn't in that. And that is attractive to people. That's a natural sort of body awareness, body confidence, and a mental posture that is attractive to people. And I find that people say, what do you do? And when I say fitness is my gig, they'll say, I can tell, but they're intrigued because what does that mean?
Right.
What does that mean? What do you do? And the next question is always, are you a personal trainer? Why do people ask that first?
Well, amen.
No. What do you mean? What? The only thing in fitness is personal trainer? No dissing on personal trainers, but hello, there's more than fitness, more to fitness than just a personal trainer. No, I like to stand on the stage with a microphone with a class of 150 people. So no, I don't personal train. But that's always the next questions. But I like the questions because then we can get into, and then it's, well, have you heard of P90X? And who hasn't? I mean, do you live under a rock? So of course they have. Oh, I work with Beachbody. I don't work for Beachbody. Make sure you know that when you're talking to people. I work with Beachbody. I don't work for them, and neither do you. You don't work for them. You work with them to share their products in a way that helps people live their healthiest life. That's the way I talk about it. And then, hopefully it generates a little bit more conversation. Maybe even just generates to a card or a Facebook message later or something like that. But you'd be surprised at the amount of people. And I don't mean like 10s and 20s and 30s amount of people, but Renee Allen just signed up as a coach underneath me, and she has watched my Facebook page for a year.
Wow.
1 year. She has watched my Facebook page. Never one time reached out to me. Not one time. Never did a challenge group. Never sent me a message. Nothing. Watched my Facebook page for a year. And then finally, I don't know what I posted. Whatever it was, she sent me a message. She goes, okay, I've watched your Facebook for a year. And I'm like, what? That is power in consistency. Yeah. Knowing who you are, knowing your brand, and consistently putting it out there and in the way that feels right to you. And Maria, I know you're younger than I am, so you may have a little bit of a younger team. And I don't know if I knew who I was in my 20s. I mean, I got married when I was 24. I was having babies. I don't know if I knew what the heck I was doing. So certainly embrace that, you're on that journey of kind of figuring out who you are. And, if who I am at my age now is the same person I was when I was 24, that's a bad thing. I don't want to be at my core. I want to have my same, morals and ethics, but by golly, I better be a better version of myself than I was at 24 years old. So embrace that journey, because that's who you will attract to. You will attract those people that are on that journey as well. Some of the confidence that I feel now comes because I'm old enough to not give a, anymore. This is who I am. This is who I am. And I'm on a constant journey to make myself the best version I can be, but there are pieces of me that this is just who I am. So when you're in your 20s, I don't know if you have that quite as much, but you can. You can still work out who you are and know that you'll be different, 5 or 10 or 15 years from now. And hopefully you'll find some people that want to go on that journey with you.
Awesome. I definitely think Beachbody catalyzes that process. Like, I don't know that I would have found personal development as early as I did. I mean, I was like 3-4 years ago that I really started to get into the whole self-love, personal development. And that was before my time as a 24-year-old. So I definitely thank Beachbody for that. And then you said a very clear thing for me, as I even found I'm much more confident talking about what I do, but not as confident with like aligning myself with Beachbody, which is silly because the more events I go to and the more I do this, the more I'm proud to be a part of that company. Kind of like very much like I'm proud to be associated with Angie's List. Like I'll lead with Angie's List because I know people know it. Whereas Beachbody, sometimes there's a fear to come off gimmicky or infomercially, or like you're just another coach. And that's just I'm just realizing that's a fear-based mentality. And it's looking at it like we're not all in it together, not knowing the overall mission. And whenever I go to Summit, it totally reminds me of whether you are that coach that's just starting off and maybe doing some social media mistakes, or you're that coach that has been in it forever. Like we're all on the same team, and there's enough to go around. And just, I think you said, I work with Team Beachbody, and you say that pretty early. I think that's awesome that it's so clear and you just say it and you're proud of it. So
that's who I am. It is who I am. And I that's probably part of a journey of getting a little bit older too, and embracing some of that. But I also think no matter where you are age-wise, it's a little bit of a journey in kind of figuring out who your brand is. Because I think in probably the past year, 8 months-ish, I have gotten much more vocal on my page at my personal, my like page, because that's the one page I use now, my like page. I've gotten much more vocal on that page with regard to my business. I think that, I was coached or thought that, as I said, Beachbody is a part of what I do. It's not just all I do. It's part of my brand, but it's not my brand. It's part of my brand. And so I was a little fearful that if I was putting that stuff out on my page, well, then it would be like, oh, she's only about Beachbody. Well, I'm not only about Beachbody, but that's a huge part of my life because I believe so passionately in it and because it's completely changed. I mean, we're going to Disney next week because of Beachbody. Right. So why was I not sharing a little bit more about that on my page? As far as like my coach successes, our rank advancements and new coaches joining our team and people helping other people. Why was I not sharing that on my like page? I think I was struggling with making sure it wasn't coming across as, well, that this is all I do. Well, quite frankly, I don't care anymore. Right. This is what I do. Right. And I do other things too. And I do this. And so why can't I talk about it on my page? Because it's my page. And if you don't want to hear me talking about it, you cannot be my friend. So, I mean, I just had to get over that a little bit. Like, I don't want to talk about Beachbody because people might think I'm selling Beachbody. Guess what I am? I am selling Beachbody. And you know why I'm selling Beachbody? Because it will change your life. And if you follow the program and drink the shake and do what the challenge group says, your life will change, period. So I am selling Beachbody and I am sharing it and I'm using it and it is part of my life and I'm a lifer. So I don't know why I was not sharing more of that on my like page. Specifically the stuff that was going on with our team, because people need community. I mean, why do challenge groups work? Because it's a community. Why would someone not want to be part of a team that, like you said, inspired you to find personal development so much earlier than you would have found it any other time? Why do people not want? Of course they do. They're looking for something bigger than themselves. Whether they know it or not, every human being is looking to be part of something bigger than themselves. So we've got to be okay with sharing stuff that's going on our team because people are looking for that. And the ones that don't friend you or don't follow you, you don't want them anyway. It's okay. And your family that says, why do you only talk about Beachbody? Like that, what are you doing? All you do is talk about Beachbody. Say, yeah, I do. That's what I talk about because guess what? That's my future. And for me, it's my kids' future and it's my grandkids' future and probably their future too. So yeah, I am going to talk about it and you are going to hear about it. And if you don't like it, then just don't friend me. I'm okay with that because I'm in it, and I think that that's really important to just be, I'm in it and it's going to be on my page.
I love it. Yeah, I think I've seen that and it's definitely trickling down. And I hope that the power of it is that we all can feel that, see that, and we definitely look up to you and you do such a great job. So it's really helpful to see that come through.
Get it out there, baby. Yeah. Wave that flag.
I love it. Okay, well, I know we're hogging your time, so I'll just ask one more question.
Okay.
How do you keep in, this is kind of vague, how do you keep in contact with all your coaches, but more so like how do you maximize your inspiration footprint, I guess, with all your coaches and keep them all?
That's quite a phrase. I don't know that I've heard that before.
I made it up. I think I'm going to use it.
I like it. Thanks. I'm going to write that down and use that. What I've started doing more recently that, again, I wasn't doing before. So this is the power of being coachable and being open to change and continuing to evolve is I used to get this, for whatever reasons, this freaked me out to do one-on-one getting started right calls. Like it freaked me out. And you know what? That's why I'm not a personal trainer because I like one-on-one sometimes, but I really like the group. I love the group energy and the buzz and the excitement and watching all the light bulbs go off. I mean, I love that. So I thought, why am I not using that concept with my team? So as I would look at my downline, and I'm looking here because I've got them all listed right over here on the whiteboard. I thought, well, I've got 6 or 7 coaches who just signed on in the past month. Why don't we all do a Zoom call? And then I've got 6 or 7 coaches who signed on last month, and they've each got a coach underneath them. Why don't we do a Zoom call? And then I've got 6 or 7 coaches who are all emerald and they're shooting for diamond. And why don't we do a Zoom call? And I just started implementing these Zoom calls where I might do a little bit of training, or I would talk to them about something, and then we would kind of talk, and then they could see each other's faces, and they could see me, and they could hear me, and they could ask questions, and they could realize, just like in a challenge group, that their question was in everyone else's head, and they were really glad someone else asked it, and I answered it, and everyone got the same answer. And I just started doing, and it has been so successful because now it's like that one-on-one kind of face-to-face, not a text conversation that it's just so much more fun than a one-on-one for me. It's so much, anytime someone wants to, like a coach wants to meet with me, I'll say, well, who else? Bring some more people, because it's so much more fun when we get 3 or 4 or 5, because everyone has the same questions, and more brains like that are always better than just 1 or 2. So why don't we harness our creative energy and work together and, be stronger together? So that's something that I have done more recently, and I found it to be so helpful. That's a great way for me to stay connected with my coaches in a way that feels really, really authentic to who I am and helps them at the same time.
That's awesome.
That, I don't know. So if you're freaked out by a one-on-one call or whatever, try doing a Zoom with a group, because it's super fun.
That's really cool.
You can play music, and sometimes I wear my Mickey Mouse ears and we dance around a little bit, and so it's just fun. I mean, next week I will do, and I try them at different times too. We've done them in the evening, but that's not my good time, as Maria knows. We were trying to schedule it. I'm like, oh, no. I shut down at like 8 o'clock at night. But we'll do some next week, and because I'm getting ready to leave for Disney, I'll put on a pair of ears or a hat or do something. And it's just fun, and they get to know you, I think, so much better. Half the time, I think Josie was walking through here early. Half the time your kids are walking through, your dog's barking, and guess what? That's life. And this business works in your life in a way that feels right to you. And yes, my kids are going to be walking through here. And yes, I may have to go over here and sign a permission slip or answer homework while we're doing, and that's okay, because that's life, and that's how this business works. And they are why I do the business. So I'm okay with that going on. But you just get to know each other, I think, so much better than on a phone call. When you can see each other and talk to each other and realize that everyone's kind of in the same boat, and everyone's got kids and dogs and cats and blah, blah, blah. And, this person just came in from her workout, and then you just get to know each other so much better. Now you have this community. So then they go to a live event and they know each other. And you see them go, oh my gosh, they've never met in person, but they feel like they know each other. And there's already a community established before they even have really met, because we've been talking to each other, but it's, they can see. So I think that's huge.
That's awesome. I think that's something that we do as a team for sure. And the community has definitely, I think, with Team Sparta doing challenge groups together, and then we've done nothing but that, which is really cool to see everyone play different roles and help each other out. And I have a coach who actually volunteered to do that. Like, is it the 100 steps that you sent out? It was one of the checklists, and she's actually going to lead a group, kind of like the 30-day push. Only she's going to lead a group, and she thought of that herself. But she's
that's so awesome.
So there's a lot of the whole team environment, and then the Zoom call, that makes so much sense. And I'm so similar, and that's why I don't want to probably be a personal trainer either. And I think that's something that maybe some people would like that, and they can rock with that. But it's good to know that there's innovation, and that you make it your own, and that you don't have to dread doing things, and you can figure out a way to speak your language and do the things you love and make it work.
And that was huge. That was a huge journey, because when I came in the business, and all the mentors I had, everyone was like, "We got to get on the phone, and you got to call," and I'd be like, and I would look at my calendar, and it would be 2 or 3 days, literally, of 3 hours a day of phone calls, trying to really connect with people one-on-one, and I dreaded it. I didn't dread chatting with them. I just dreaded the back to back and saying the same thing over and over, and just that. I dreaded it, and I thought there has to be a better way, because I love this business so much, and I love it with every fiber of my being, that there has to be a better way of doing that and getting the same results, but in a way that feels so much. I should never dread it, and that just took a little while to figure. It was like literally a light bulb, and I went, why am I not doing this? Why have I not been doing this? And I think when you embrace the pieces that don't really work for you and are okay with trying to innovate to find something else, you will find something that works for you. And there are absolutely some best practices in the business. Yes, you have to do your personal development, but how you do it will be the way that works for you. Do you like audio? Do you like podcasts? Do you like reading? You know, so you got to innovate in the way you have to do it, but how you do it is up to you. You got to do your workout. You got to drink your Shakeology. You know, you have to invite, but kind of how you do it, you can innovate that into a place that feels like you. I just had to accept that it didn't have to be the way that everyone else was already doing it and always had been doing it, and that's the way that I should be doing it. I had to be confident enough that I could do my way and that it works for this team.
Right. That's awesome. And I think that encourages a lot of us to feel just do what works for us and
do what works for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Carve your own path, you know, and I think that certainly, you know, I get inspired by my children too. And, you know, as I said, my middle daughter is this serious ballerina. Nobody in our family has been a ballet dancer ever. So she's carving her own path, and that's kind of inspiring to us too, you know, to see someone really decide that that's what they want to do and just go after it. So
that's awesome, Julie. Well, thank you so much. I feel like I could talk to you for hours. I know it's just me and you, but I promise to share it with a ton of people, and I think they'll really benefit from it.
I was talking about my children, you know, being home. Come here. So this is one of the benefits of the business. I am home when she gets home and can be home when she gets home. So if you are, you know, on Maria's team and you're a full-time working parent or whatever, know that this business can make it so that when they get off the bus and they come home, you can be the one they see, and then you can be on webinars too.
Yeah, I love seeing it. That's definitely an inspiration. We definitely have mamas, so thanks, Jessie. You look so cute. Well, I really appreciate it, Julie. I know we're going to benefit from this, and I hope you have fun in Disney. When do you leave?
Next Thursday. We leave next Thursday, and we're ready for a break, but it's a little bit of a stressful time because we got big goals that we're trying to meet right now. So our team's doing really great things. So we got to just stay on track and you know, not let Disney take away from being focused. We got a big goal that's coming up that we're trying to meet as a team and do some really cool things with. So
yeah, I know. We'll definitely make it happen. I have faith in it. Well, I'll let you go, and we'll talk to you soon.
Perfect.
Okay. Thanks.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Julie.